Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back to my channel for another episode with myself, Michelle. I hope you've been doing well and continue to keep well. I thought I might just hop on today and almost do like an introduction to who I am. So people understand, what to look forward to in my channel, what type of content I'm going to be putting out there. So this is just an episode of having a conversation with myself, just to reinforce who I am at this present moment and looking forward to the next chapter of the experiences and lessons I learned that can help me get better. So I'm going to be doing a different take on how I do an introduction of myself. I think it was Miles Monroe who had a different approach on how we should be introducing ourselves. I think I really resonated with that because the way Miles Monroe approaches it is you give a holistic view of who the person is. So hopefully this gives you insight into who I am. And please feel free to ask me questions, right? This is the part where we get to know each other. So I'm open to you giving me comments on what else you would like me to speak on. And, what would you like to know beyond and above what I'm going to give you today? And hopefully it also encourages you to do the same thing with yourself. I mean, we're starting the new year. It would be great just to reintroduce ourselves to ourselves, essentially. And then the extensions of the people who we engage with would then be able to also kind of understand who we've become. I think it just impressed upon me that I've changed, and I just really wanted to reconnect with who I am. So I do this often. It's just that it's different answers, which just is a tell that we're continuously evolving. Okay, so let's get right into it. So the first question is, who am I? Who is Michelle? So I'm a young lady, and sorry, I'm going to be casting down on my book. I've got a couple of notes. So mind the aversion of the eye, but I'm a young lady who is, I guess, centered on seeking how to add value in all the spaces and experiences that I find myself. I think I'm always a student of life. I'm looking to learn all the time, and that means I'm very open to hearing different perspectives and just understanding how people view things, so I can get different points of reference as well. Like to think that I'm consciously someone who's self-aware. So I'm always trying to understand how my presence or my contribution, whether it be verbally or, physically, that I'm in a space and an environment, how does it shape the experience of the people in that moment as well. So I'm always self-aware. And sometimes what you find is I've got gremlins in my closet. So I am a person who's continuously trying to understand themselves most of the time, because I find the greatest power is knowing who I am, and because it just spills over into every single thing that I will do and that I will not do, as well as protecting myself, like a boundary, so to speak, in spaces where I know I wouldn't really feel comfortable or thrive in. So I'm always looking to be self-aware. I own my responsibility and accountability in how I affect people, in as far as my intent goes. Sometimes just the way people receive you doesn't really have much about what it is you're trying to convey, because we all have different filters, and sometimes people are not actually reading you the way you're trying to present yourself. So I guess what I'm saying is I'm a person who's very aware that I am accountable and responsible in as far as representing my intentions well, in any space, moment, and time. I'm very conscious of the choices that I make. So I'm a person who's a deep thinker. I look below the surface because for myself, who I am is a lot more beneath what you see on the surface. I like to call myself an ambivert because I'm able to adapt in different situations. I gather my energy internally. So I'm a person who's a homebody. I really appreciate my space and my time because it allows me to sit and soak in the tub and think, or to write, which I do a lot, and just to think through how my day went. So I can be introverted in certain aspects, which means I internalize a lot of who I am and what I choose to ground who I am. And I'm also extroverted in that in some spaces I can take energy and influence from people as well. So I'm an ambivert. I can be either one of the two. So you never know who you're going to meet. Just joking. Most of the time I am grounded in being very deep in my thoughts and just internally processing a lot of things. And I can be the life of the party as well. So yeah, that's who I am. Anything I've left? Yeah, I'm also very private. I think my family coins the term secret squirrel a lot. I understand why, but I'm just a very private person. I've always been that way. So I might be quiet and I'm very private, but I do share things that I know would be insightful to someone else, or at least I hope so. Number 2, where am I from? This was an interesting one. Miles Monroe says this has got nothing to do with my demographic, so that's about it. What I'm going to answer the question on really is what created me. So what source do I come from? I am deeply rooted in understanding that everything that I am and who I can become is really centered around God Almighty, who created me. And it gives me such a warmth to understand and know that I was created by such a marvelous force itself. And also because I was created by God, I can mimic his qualities. And it's one of the things I'm always consciously trying to do. So I'm trying to always be mindful to understand who my creator is and what are his qualities that are dear to me, that he's loving unconditionally. When a girl's out of the way, he's still like, I love you, girl. So I look to mimic some of those qualities as best as I can because I'm imperfect. But I mean, at the forefront, where I'm from is from a source that created everything, most powerful source, and one that I can actually lean on in terms of trying to be the best version that it created me for as well. I was also birthed to my parents who were blessed to have me. I love my parents, adore them. Both of them have passed, they're late, but they've entrenched in my sinews a lot of who I am at the core. Spending more time with my mother really, I think, entrenched what it meant to be a woman, even though at that time I might not have understood that what it was. But as I grew older, I then understood those were the principles she was leaving me with. And one of the strongest things that my parents entrenched in me is just believing in myself and always striving to call on God, because when I didn't believe in myself, then God did, and I could lean on him and understand how to get that self power within myself as well. And my parents taught me how to be true to who I am. They always encouraged me being different. Third question, why am I here? This is such a, okay, this will have to be unpacked in another episode, definitely. But for today, I think a lot of times we're wondering why we're here, right? Beyond understanding the spirituality of that we were created by God and that our purpose is kind to come and learn and do our best at being who he's created us to be, and also just transferring that to each other, you know, encouragement and hope and just being kind. I think why I'm here is it resonates with me today because I've embarked on a journey, starting with creating my podcast. I'll share that link as soon as I have my first episode on there, creating my channel. But I guess just looking for platforms to really find spaces where I can share insights that will help people on their own life journeys, things I've certainly learned myself, how to do things better, not because I'm better, but because I have learned, and I have such an innate and ingrained passion to be someone who is a teacher, right? In all things and in all spheres, hopefully that we get more tools in our little life toolboxes that we can use just for having shared it on my different platforms, kind of help people and guide people in many various ways. I think one of my programs, the purpose analysis, is something I do very well because it helped me understand what my own purpose was. We'll talk more about that in another episode. So why am I here? To help people, guide people, and learn as well for myself and grow, so I can actually be a testimony to how you can do things better. So fourth question, what can I do? I think I've alluded to that already in the why am I here. I think one of the things I'm really fond of is understanding just how much power I have in the gifts that I've been blessed with by God, just being a person who a lot of people refer to as someone they can find comfort in. I'm very passionate about being someone who's just kind, because we go through a lot of things and you never know when you meet someone what it would do just to smile and be kind to them. You might be saving a life just by doing that, like seriously. And so what can I do? I encourage people a lot of the times to step into their potential. I'm a person who is known for leaving you feeling uncomfortable, but in a good way. Uncomfortable in the understanding that comfort is not where growth is, and uncomfortable enough to understand that you can actually lean into your potential and address the things that could be blockers for certain reasons. I encourage, I inspire, I incite people to find their truest happiness. And that comes from, in my view, really finding the things that you were gifted with. You know, when they create or when they manufacture products. And let's talk about cars, okay? When they manufacture a car, they're very particular about what it is that it needs to do. And they design it a specific way, and they make 110% sure that it is made to be the product that it is meant to be. And so are we. So what I encourage is for people to find that, you know, to understand, am I a Ferrari? Should I be on the Autobahn? Or am I something else? Should I be something that's in a prize museum? Because we're all different, right? And I think what I can do is help people discover that for themselves and just align more to who you intrinsically are. Right, and the last one, where am I going? This one is so dear to me because I've just started a journey on where I'm going. I am really excited about sharing my thoughts and my insights and just coming on and talking to people and just sharing whatever I might feel moved to share. So where I'm going essentially is after everything that God's placed in my spirit that I am coming for. Being a person of influence in the right spaces, having the conversations that are critical to have in how we shape how we do better in some of these pivotal topics, and just also an encouragement to people for them to lean into the better side of them, the good side of them, versus, you know, wallowing. It's very easy for us to start to wallow. I mean, we're living in the hardest times right now in some aspects, but there's also really goodness in what we can appreciate. So where am I going? Is I am going to find myself in the spaces and create them too, where I can be a person of value in whatever aspect that God has gifted me that opportunity to have. And I see myself, you know, one day talking to millions of people in the hopes that it encourages somebody else just to live better by making better choices and sharing the tools that I have, the things that help me along the way, because we all need help. One day I'll make it onto that stage, and I've always had the dream of just, you know, being a beacon of light and helping people switch on their own lights. I almost see myself standing at a podium and, you know, your cell phone lights going on one cell phone at a time until the entire room is filled with just bright lights. I think that's where I'm going. The hypothesis is that. In what way, in what shape, in what form it will unfold, but I'm definitely stepping into all the channels that I can to be able to reach people and help people. So that's it. That's about who I am. A simple introduction. I know there's lots more that you would like to hear. I look forward to more engagements, and I look forward to all your questions, and I am so ready for them, and I mean all of them. I know some of them that will be coming through, but you just reach out and let's have a chat and get to know each other. That's it. Yeah, that's it. Until next time, I hope you take care of yourself, be good, and stay safe. Till next time.